I'm Megan Spurline, news editor at The Vidette, the student voice of Illinois State University, and a reporter for WGLT. Welcome to Democracy's Future, a joint project between The Vidette and WGLT News. We hear from the students who will help chart the future of our democracy. On this episode of Democracy's Future, we explore the role women play in politics in the U.S. For most of America's history, it's been a secondary role. Women make up a larger share of the electorate, but men have historically held the majority of elected offices. This group of students at Illinois Wesleyan University is determined to change that. Itzel Mendoza is a senior from Bloomington majoring in political science and Hispanic studies. Samantha Wilcox is a senior neuroscience major from Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. Both are members of Wesleyan's Women in Politics student organization. In this conversation with Vidette reporters Emma Snyder and Kaylee Sugimoto, they explain what got them interested in politics and government and how they hope to break through that glass ceiling.
My interest in politics started in high school with a APUSH, AP US History class. My professor, Mr. Lewis, who has been an advocate for those who are on the other side of history that have not been listened to, really sparked my interest in politics, and that continued on into now Illinois Wesleyan, where I'm part of Women in Politics, and have been expanding, even meeting Representative Chung and hearing a lot from her.
Samantha, I would say my interest sparked young. My parents were always very involved in politics, and they would discuss different issues. I remember whenever I was driving in the car with my dad to school or practices, he would have the news on, and I'd ask questions about things that I heard, because obviously I was younger, so it was definitely a little bit difficult to understand, but he was very willing to break it down and explain it to me. That's definitely where it started, and going into the 2020 election, with the pandemic going on, our student senate encouraged us to get involved and be election workers, especially because a lot of the people who might have typically volunteered to do that were not able to because of the pandemic. So I was able to go out and take part in that, and I think that really helped strengthen my intentions and my connection with politics.
Why do you guys feel that people are so concerned about the future of democracy in America?
Itzel, part of the reason why I think people are so concerned about democracy is, I think, polarization and this idea of extremism, because again, there's a lot of divide between leaders that are Democratic and Republican. But I think it's something that we as a nation should work on and find a common interest for everyone that will benefit the most.
Samantha, I do think that this is largely because of the increased polarization. I would say that I've noticed a significant shift. In addition, I think some of the guardrails of democracy that we've had in place are starting to erode in some ways. I think that our belief in the validity of the democracy and the decisions that are being made, a lot of people are starting to question. So I think this erosion in some of these guardrails and these democratic values is what we're starting to see that's concerning.
So you guys are in an RSO Women in Politics at IWU. What do you guys do? How do your guys' meetings work? How is the idea created? You know, what's it all about?
Itzel, Women in Politics really just advocates for women representation within politics in the humanities. We usually have events monthly that focus on politics and local politics. We recently had an event, a meeting with Sharon Chung, and we were able to talk about concerns within Illinois and talk about, since she's a IWU alum, about her expectations as college voters. And we really focus on bringing women together, especially in such male-dominated field.
Samantha, So women in politics came to our campus when Valeria Suarez, she was a poli-sci major. She really just started spearheading that along with the help of a lot of other women on campus. And we've brought a lot of speakers to campus, had documentaries, and just overall working to encourage women to be more involved in politics and more aware of the issues going on around them.
Do you think that it's difficult for women to find more representation in politics?
Yes, I believe so. We've talked about this in several classes, and I actually took a pre-law course at U of I, and we spoke about sometimes how women are patronized within this field. A lot of the times we're not taken serious, our concerns are not raised or advocated for, and I feel like if we bring RSOs, organizations similar to Women in Politics, our concerns will be taken more serious.
Samantha, I definitely think that politics is still certainly a male-dominated field. I think even if you just look at the national level, we still have yet to have a female president, and I think that's very reflective of the fact that we still have a lot of work to do in increasing female representation.
What unique challenges do you believe that women in politics face with any job that they're working in within the field?
I think still we have society has this patriarchal view on women, specifically when when a woman's pregnant and still working. We have this view where she cannot work because she is pregnant. But I think we're turning the page and seeing that a woman can work and they have the ability to do the same things that anyone else can.
Samantha, I definitely think a lot of these are some implicit biases or prejudices people would have. I've heard people say women are too emotional and too hormonal to be in politics. And I truly just don't think that that's true. And I think that a lot of these are manifesting in implicit ways in the way that people would act or people would believe women's opinions. And yeah.
When you guys encounter a statement like that or something like that based on a belief that that women are too emotional, or there's always a stigma around women never being taken seriously, and which is very hard in politics because you need to be taken seriously. You need people to trust your word and understand it. How do you keep going, and how do you stay within such a misunderstanding field sometimes?
I think just using that as motivation to prove them wrong can really motivate to go further and accomplish certain goals that you have listed in mind. Not listening to those and just motivating yourself to keep going.
Samantha? Yeah, I think those can definitely be very disheartening, and it would be easy for those to discourage someone, and that's probably a lot of the reason why women are very underrepresented in politics. But I think just thinking of those that will come after us, thinking of my younger cousins, I want people to be able to see the representation all across the board. I believe that it starts with us. We're the people who are able to make the change, so keep going through that.
What do you guys think is the best thing people can do to help women break into politics and into this male-dominated field?
I think just acknowledging inclusivity within politics, not just women, but people of color as well. This notion of inclusivity will help and change how women, people of color, are taken into consideration within politics.
Samantha, I really just think we need to uplift voices, especially that's how the change happens. So if you see someone taking credit for someone else's idea, people not being taken seriously, doing your best to help uplift those voices. I mean, one person can't do it by themselves, so being supportive and doing what you can to make that change.
This might be a little bit out there, but I do want to ask the question. It is politics, so I feel like a lot of issues that are happening today can be used by some politician for political gain. Have you ever experienced or seen something where an issue that was personal to you was used in that way, and how did that make you feel? And again, how do you keep studying in a field and kind of navigating that conflict and that discomfort, if that makes any sense?
I am a daughter of immigrants, and I am an immigrant myself. I think immigrants over on politics are used as political pawns. And going with that, with my involvement in politics, I think, honestly, disregarding those comments, I know they're disheartening, and just keep moving. Like Sam mentioned, looking back at family members, like cousins, brothers, sisters, seeing that you could be that change for them is really motivating.
Yeah, Samantha, I think that is very disheartening when people take advantage of others or take advantage of people's issues for their own gain. I think just using that to fuel your own drive to keep going and move forward is the best way to go about that.
We've talked a lot about the issues in democracy and in politics. What keeps you motivated to keep pushing for your political beliefs, to keep pushing to have a spot and a say in politics?
It's all because my interest is in law. I think justice will be served, and I think that idea of justice, it's what motivates me to bring awareness to bigger issues like immigration, and then eventually when I do become a lawyer, serving those people and being representative of them.
Samantha, I just think that we can do better as a country. I think that's what fuels me, is that I know that we can do better and we can grow and we can improve. Even just seeing how much we've grown as a nation in the past decade, century, there's a lot of room to grow, a lot of places that we need to improve, but we can do better.
Do you think that the U.S. is ready to elect and see a woman president represented?
I think the United States has been ready for a woman to be president. There needs to be change in multiple facets of society, but I think it is ready, and it will eventually happen. I say a decade, but we'll see.
Samantha, I would like to think that the United States is ready to elect a female president. I mean, someone's going to have to be the first, and I'm sure that when that happens, there will be some backlash by people who don't feel like they're ready or that we're ready, but it needs to happen, so I would love to see that happen in the next decade for sure.
That was Illinois Wesleyan students Samantha Wilcox and Itzel Mendoza speaking with Vidette reporters Emma Snyder and Kaylee Sugimoto. We will be taking a little time off from the podcast as students take summer break. We are still planning a few episodes over the summer, so look out for that. And we will hear from many more student voices in the fall as the November election draws closer. Our thanks to audio producers Ryan Toohey and Ariel Jones, WGLT Digital Content Director Ryan Denham, and WGLT News Director Eric Stock. Please give us your feedback on this series, and let us know if there are certain issues you'd like us to explore. Email us at news@wglt.org. Subscribe to Democracy's Future on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, I'm Megan Spurline. Thank you for listening.